Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is the start of a challenge from subscriber Barrett, who is a big fan of the Ichormoon Gauntlet Planeswalker Poison deck that I built many months ago on the channel, probably close to a year ago at this point, actually. This is a spicy little number from Phyrexia All Will Be One, 2 and a blue artifact. Planeswalkers you control have 0 proliferate and -12 take an extra turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose a counter on target permanent, put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent. Back when this card was new, I built this Planeswalker control deck that doesn't really have any way to win except Prologue to Phyresis. Each opponent gets a poison counter and draw a card, and then proliferate that a bunch of times in this Turtle Up, Pillow Fort, blue-white Planeswalker control deck. You could technically also win with Wandering Emperor's 2/2s, or Gideon of the Trials can attack as a 4/4, but that's it. This deck was really exciting, and the video did really well at the time I released it, and Barrett has come back close to a year later and given me 3 chances to trophy with it for a bonus cash prize, which means if I don't trophy this league, you'll see this again, and if I don't trophy that league, you'll see it again, probably spread out about week and a half, 2 weeks between each try. It's been a while since I got a trophy challenge. Excited to take it on. The biggest thing that's changed since the last time I played this deck is Lord of the Rings was printed. Orcish Bowmaster is a nightmare for these sit-back blue-white control decks. Sit-back, draw cards isn't really a plan anymore. As far as answers to Bowmaster go, I do have 4 Plow, 2 March of Otherworldly Light, 2 Supreme Verdict, 4 Force of Will. I have more answer to Bowmasters than they have Bowmasters. And then hopefully my Planeswalkers, Gideon, Dovin, Teferi, and Wandering Emperor can keep the pressure off from any other creature. Narset is my card advantage engine here. Prologue to Phyresis is a cantrip. And once you have 2 or 3 Planeswalkers in play and stick a Gauntlet, the game actually ends pretty quickly. This gets out of hand like crazy, especially with Teferi Master of Time, who can activate loyalty abilities on both turns, so you're proliferating a lot if you get this going. This is kind of the ultimate test of, is blue-white do-nothing tap-out control viable or not in the Legacy format? And I hope so, because I like this kind of deck. And I tried a blue-white Miracles deck recently on the channel with Jaces and counterbalances and stuff. That deck needs a lot of work. It was misbuilt by probably 5 or 6 cards at least. And this one is trying to do something different, but it's doing something different in a way that I'm actually pretty excited about. Because outside of the Brainstorms and Prologue to Phyresis, we're actually pretty resilient against Bowmasters because the win condition doesn't involve drawing cards. And Narset, our core engine, doesn't draw cards. There's a lot to like about this in the metagame. And I just like this kind of deck in general. So I'm really hoping this works. Also, if I 5-0 one of the 3 leagues I play with this, that's money in the bank. I am motivated. Barrett, thanks for the challenge. Let's play these games. Introducing Club GG, the mobile platform that lets you create your own poker clubs and play with your friends anywhere. Creating your own club is easy. Just download the app, set up your club, and invite your friends. But that's not all. With a Club GG membership from just $9.99 per month, you can win prizes weekly, with over $200,000 in prizes being awarded each month. You could win millions just by playing on Club GG, so what are you waiting for? Download Club GG today and start playing with your friends. Subscribe using code BOSH for a free 7-day membership. Visit us at clubgg.net. I'm on the play in round 1, and Island Ponder. Let's go. Keeping it. Island Ponder, basic lands. If I find the next blue source, Narset's going. Alright, here we go. I'll put Force of Will in my hand now with Flooded Strand under it. It's game time. Let's see what's going on over there. Verdant Catacombs. Suspicious. That card's not in many decks these days. I've seen a recent resurgence of depth decks on the channel, which I found really interesting. Okay, this looks like Cradle Control. If that's the case, what I want to do about this, Supreme Verdict will be good someday. This is going to get a Dryad Arbor now. I don't really want to pitch to Fairy. I don't really want Narset to be under pressure either, though. Alright, I actually am going to force this pitching to Fairy, which already spews off my best engine for Ichormoon Gauntleting. But this is going to be a long game. My top card is Wandering Emperor. I can decide if I want that starting next turn. The trick is I do want that, but I also want to hit my land drops. Okay, a Zenith for 1 this time. I'm going to let this resolve because now I'm closer to Supreme Verdict. Veteran Explorer. Oh, we're doing this. Interesting. All right. Now I'm even more excited. I'm going to fetch from Meticulous Archive and get a little card selection here. I'll keep that Ponder. I like that. You know I like Ponder. My deck's got plenty of basics if this Veteran Explorer were to die somehow. Maybe to an unfortunate Supreme Verdict. Force of Will, Plow, Ponder. This is awkward because they are a Cabal Therapy deck, and I already have a Force and a Ponder in my hand, so if I show them one and they just name it off Cabal Therapy to get a sure hit, and they actually get 2 cards, I'm going to take the Plow even though I think it's the card I want the least, just to play around the engine that I know their deck is built on. Showing the Plow also incentivizes them to do something with Veteran Explorer now. Well, they're pitching Grief, so whatever happens, happens from here. I also have to be super cognizant of my clock. I'm already down 30 seconds, and this deck takes a long time to win, even if you are just totally locked. It might take a while to put the first poison counter on them. There's only 2 Ichormoon Gauntlets. It's not easy. Good news is I can F6 from here because my hand's empty of interaction now. Ooh, attacking me. They said, I don't care about Narset. Take 1. Phyrexian Tower. Okay, that's why they didn't care about Narset. Fair enough. Wandering Emperor. I'm going to Ponder. They could sack Veteran Explorer to cast Bowmaster here, but I could Plow Bowmaster. This actually sucks. I don't want any of this. Shuffle. They found a land. I can't Plow this Explorer because they could just sack it in response and still get the important part. Taking my beats. Okay, it's party time. I will, in fact, poop millions of lands into play. Basic heavy mana base coming in clutch. Let's see what big stupid thing is coming out of this. They know I have a Plow in my hand. This can't get Opposition Agent. X equals 3. Leovold, maybe? Alright, resolves. Tireless Tracker is pretty good. Grist, yeah, that's fine. Okay, Grist made a bug. End step, I'm making a Wandering Emperor. And I can start pressuring Grist. They got 1 card left over there. 2/2 Samurai. Brainstorm, good card. I'm going to attack Grist. See what they want to do here. Do they block? Do they put Grist to 2? If Grist goes to 2, then it has to die to clear my Wandering Emperor. They know I have Swords to Plowshares, and Grist doesn't sacrifice as a cost. It's as at the ability resolved. And I'm going to Brainstorm. I don't think Supreme Verdict's a card I want anymore. Of course, they have this jerk. They know I have Swords to Plowshares. They are Hellbent, though. Put back... Oh, I could just put back both lands, or I could put back Supreme Verdict and land, then fetch and Brainstorm again. That sounds pretty good, actually. Tundra, Brainstorm again. Let's go. Here's the squad. Okay, put back Flooded Strand and Narset. And I'm going to play Teferi. Bounce Orc Army. Wandering Emperor makes it 2/2. And now, even if they fetch Dryad Arbor, a card that we know they have because they Zenith for 0, I have multiple Planeswalkers and then more on the way. And a threat that clears Grist. They need a big draw here. The Super Friends are assembling. There's the fetch Dryad Arbor. Which of my 3 permanents are you worried about at this point? Wandering Emperor's already made 2 threats, so she's done a good job in her limited time on this earth. Cool. Alright, what's that card in your hand? Is it a good one? Okay, they're passing, and I have Teferi in play, so I'm not worried about much here. They can't Bowmaster me. Narset. Dig, dig, dig. Let's find a Gauntlet and get it going here. Yeah! Big Gauntlet. Resolves, resolves, resolves. I still have my Teferi activation. That's why I didn't activate Teferi first, and they scooped to the Gauntlet. Off to a good start on the challenge. Okay, we're playing against a Infect deck. I like Ashiok Game Ender here. Brazen Borrower, Celestial Purge. We've seen Orcish Bowmaster. Wonder how they can beat a Moat. Subtlety seems good here. Unfortunately, Subtlety is just like a relevant sideboard card for the things I'm worried about, but it does have Power and Toughness 3, which kind of dilutes what I want to be doing here, but I figured it was okay. Dress Down, Force of Negation. This isn't a great Dovin matchup. 3. I don't think I'm going to get to 6 cards here, even in matchups where traditionally Teferi's not that good against Nickfit, and I would shave one. But because of the win condition of the deck, we need a critical mass of Planeswalkers. Maybe I don't have room for all 5 subtleties, or all 5 cards, including subtlety. The Moat and Surgical are both a little tempting, because if they're a Rector build of the deck, Surgical's really good. We saw Grief Scam already. Moat could shut down a lot of win cons, but I imagine they have Beseiju or something in their deck. I'm going to keep it light until I see more. Okay. Big Planeswalker party over here. Soft to Cabal Therapy. Verdant Catacombs fetching. Alright, well, that resolves. Hope they don't name Narset in the blind here. In Brainstorm and Force of Will are usually blind targets. Depending on their hand, they might care about Swords of Plowshares. Okay, yeah. Plow is like that upper tier of things you might blind name. Love to draw Brainstorm here. Hey! It always comes. Have faith in the Brainstorm. Now if they do a Explorer into Therapy, I can Brainstorm and not get completely BTFO'd. Okay, so they'll probably name Narset here. I'm going to Brainstorm first before the lands come out. That was definitely the best draw in the deck. Oh, what's happening? Pyroblast, look at you, you sicko. Okay, well, never mind then. I'm going to lose my Narsets here, but I'm going to keep Teferi and Gauntlet. Those are not bad cards. And I'm never going to complain about ramping with my blue-white control deck. Yep, 2 Narsets going. Tough beats. Wow, they're like, no sir, you don't get a hand at all this game. I imagine they're more worried about Teferi than Gauntlet. And I'd rather keep Teferi than Gauntlet. Yep, Teferi's gone. 4 mana Planeswalkers are the cards I'm looking to draw here. Arch of Otherworldly Light, okay. They're not going to name that off Therapy, I promise. And I think I just fetch now for the Meticulous Archive and get my Surveil value before they could play something stupid like Opposition Agent. Been to Force of Will. I'm not close to that being helpful. 5 mana. Grief, okay, yep. You don't need to blind name that one. Okay, one of my Planeswalkers would be good here. They're down to 1 card in hand. I'll take a Supreme Verdict and just keep things clear. I can put a counter on something. How about my Meticulous Archive? Okay, Veil of Summer just a cantrip. That's smart, because they realize that that Veil is not going to be used for versus a Hellbent blue-white opponent, and they're just trying to get something on board while I'm spinning my wheels. If they can find a Bowmaster or something like that and really get it going. This fetch represents Dryad Arbor. They can at least start applying pressure that way. But I have bad news for them. I just drew one of my better cards. There's Dryad Arbor. Yeah, the cool thing about Planeswalker Super Friends deck is you have so many threats in the deck, or at least so many bangers. I'm going to make a 2/2 and block Dryad Arbor rather than exile it and gain 2 life. We were both Hellbent just a moment ago. I'm going to take the best play rather than the one that guarantees Dryad Arbor out of play. Basically don't care if Dryad Arbor is out of play. I'm going to attack with my Samurai. And I'm actually going to hold this Brainstorm because Bowmaster would be such a beating. But I think they would have played Bowmaster already. Because they could have traded off with the Samurai and they didn't. Okay, I'm going to make a Samurai and then cast Brainstorm. I don't think they have Bowmaster. And now the Gauntlet's actually doing stuff. More Brainstorms, okay. Put back Brainstorm and Misty, and I'll just hold this other Brainstorm. Okay, I mean, we're ahead. They have 6 mana, 7 mana. I don't know what this deck's capable of, but there's a lot going on here. And it's cool because I can make a Samurai every turn as long as I'm casting spells. Normally, Wandering Emperor runs out of loyalty to make creatures with. Storm again.
Wandering Emperor. They didn't do anything in combat. I still don't think they have the thing. Orcish Bowmaster. Ashiok Game Ender's a sick one. They have a fetch land in play. They have some stuff in their graveyard. Yeah, let's go. Trophy's still alive.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2. My hand's kind of weird. I have a removal spell, force blue card, and lots of lands against a Yorion strat. I'm actually going to keep this and have some faith in the deck's high density of banger planeswalkers. I could even fetch Meticulous Archive on turn 1 and get a little card selection. See what flavor of Yorion this is. Black-White Taxes has been making a resurgence lately after Death and Taxes not being a thing for a long time. All right. Yeah, but here's my hand. Have a look. Black-White Taxes basically confirmed. Could still be Esper Vial, but I think Black-White Taxes is more popular right now. Yep, the 1/1 removal's gone. Left the 2/1 interaction in my hand. Smart. I would do the same. Meticulous Archive. Get a little card selection here. Don't need a Tundra. That's for sure. Love to see a Narset. Call it out, folks. It's always there. Thalia. Do I want to Force of Will Thalia? I guess I have to. And I don't want to, but I don't have a 1/1. And sticking my Planeswalker, that'll be a 2/1, maybe even a 3. And then from there, we can see what happens. Another Planeswalker. Don't mind if I do. And it's a good one. Narset, refill. Supreme Verdict, Ponder, Swords to Plowshares. I think I want Swords to Plowshares. Like, Supreme Verdict's really powerful in this matchup, but they currently have no board. And I don't know how many creatures they can add to the board in one turn, but I'm going to bet on the 1-mana spell rather than the 4-mana spell. Okay, there's Thalia. They know I have Plow. Well, they're just running stuff out here. Activate Narset. Teferi. Okay, Teferi's fun because that can bounce Thalia, move my game plan forward, and draw me another card while keeping the board clear. If they play Bowmaster, they could pick off my creatures. Like if they go Thalia plus Bowmaster here, that's actually pretty powerful. If they replay Thalia and miss a land drop, that's not very powerful. Land would be sick. Brainstorm. Okay. Plus Teferi. And I guess I Plow Thalia. Just get it done before they can draw a Caracas and Protector. Dress Down and Prologue are both reasonable things to do. I could Dress Down a Stoneforge, Prologue if they just don't do anything. And then I'm just looking for a Gauntlet to win the game. Another Thalia. Okay, I'll just Prologue in response to this. Poison you. Here we go. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. That card is actually powerful. The Trips Thalia game. Tutored up Cauldron complete. Drawing land here would be pretty important because that can control Cauldron for a while. Bummer. All right. What do I want to do now? I could Ponder, try to hit the land for 2 mana. And if I do hit the land or Swords of Plowshares are both good here. Yeah, I'm going to Ponder. Yikes. All right. Just whiffing here. Shuffle. Land? Shit. All right, well, I'll Ponder. Cauldron's going to get a swing. Okay. Land and Plow. Both cards I'm happy to see. Okay, I'm going to lose both of my Planeswalkers this turn. Tough crowd. Here comes Cauldron. That I do have many answers to available. Okay, they're just ignoring Narset. That's cool. If they think they're a deck that doesn't care about Narset, that's great for me because they don't know every deck has to care about Narset. Or they could just have Bowmaster to finish it off. Another Stoneforge. Okay. More's coming. Batterskull in the mix now. Okay, how do I want to do this? Gauntlet costs 4. I could plow Thalia and then do some cantripping. Or I could just Wandering Emperor, deal with the Phyrexian Germ, and then figure out everything else next turn. Yeah, that's probably better. Rashad Port, that's annoying. Luckily, they didn't use it. A bunch of stuff's attacking me. Fetch. I'm going to grab Tundra just to make my mana, round out my mana. Exile target tap creature, gain 2 life. Rashad Port is good against basics, and basics are good against Wasteland, which is good against non-basics, and they milled away a Wasteland and then missed a land drop, and now they have Rashad Port, so at this point I'm at the phase of the game where I just want my color set up. Flicker Wisp, well, that's going to reset that Cauldron. Just working them out of cards, though. A Supreme Verdict, and we're back. Draw for turn. Lorien Revealed. That could be interesting someday in the future. They can also put Batterskull in at the end of this turn. That's 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so I'm dead. Better do something. Let's start with a Brainstorm. If their last card in hand is Bowmasters, whatever, you got me. 2 plows now. I like those. I think Ichormoon Gauntlet and Prologue to Pheresis have to back off for a while. And I could cycle Lorien Revealed for a Tundra, get that Tundra, Wandering Emperor plus target nothing. And I could kill 2 creatures this turn. I could kill Thalia and something else, or just the 2 biggest things and continue working through Thalia. But Thalia's been a huge presence in this game, obviously. Okay, there is Batterskull, Umezawa's Jitte. All right, that's a powerful card. They should put it on their worst creature. Oh, they put it on their best creature. All right, cool. Now the Swords to Plowshare is a lot easier. Okay, this is basically perfect. They're sending Thalia at Wandering Emperor. And I was going to plow Thalia plus Cauldron this turn anyway. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this... I get to keep my Planeswalker and kill their best 3 creatures because Wandering Emperor is going to survive this combat as well. All right, deck. Hook me up here. Opponent's given me the runway. Oh, yes, deck. I love you. Okay, well, we were given the runway, and I'm going to take it. Splat. Goodbye, everything. Create a 2/2 White Samurai token. Let's go. Time to flip this around. They're at 31 life and 1 poison. I'm holding Dress Down, which is really good if they start reaching for Yorion to set up a multi-turn line. They did not get their Yorion. That makes me think they have Solitude. Or they're just planning to pick up Batterskull. Yeah, my mana's tapped. Okay. Well, +1 counter on Samurai. Attack with Samurai token. And then Gideon of the Trials. And I'm going to make an emblem that I can't lose as long as I have a Gideon. They should pick up Batterskull here. Cool. All right. Gideon has Batterskull under control. I think I just let the Batterskull resolve, even though I could force it, because I could just plus Gideon on the Germ token indefinitely. And until they come up with another threat, I don't care. And I really like Dress Down as a tool in the matchup. I don't want to pitch that to force. A Ponder. Let's move some cards around. Teferi, Time Raveler. Yes, please. Do not shuffle. Play Teferi. Bounce that Germ token. Boing. Which means Gideon gets to battle this turn. I'm a 4/4. Play my land. And attack with my creatures. Make another 2/2. You know, I said in the deck tech that the Planeswalker beats were not really a win con, but they've won a game already, and they're doing what they need to do in this game. And maybe I underestimated the 3 Planeswalkers that can do stuff in this deck. A Recruiter of the Guard. And this could do a lot in a game. I'm going to let this resolve. I could Dress Down what they tutor for, and if they tutor for something big, I could maybe untap into Force of Will. I'm just really worried about this Yorion long-term. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, that's the card they got. I'm going to dress that down, which draws me a Brainstorm that I should probably cast while I still can. Force and Negation, Force of Will. All right, I'll actually just force this thing. That was a lot of work over an Orcish Bowmaster when I could have just dressed down the Recruiter, but I kind of like my spot here. Could flip quickly, though. They can equip Batterskull, but the Brainstorm seeing 2 more cantrips really put the boots on whether I could let that thing resolve. Supreme Verdict Teferi. Okay, Teferi, what's up? Plus little Teferi. Prevent all damage target permanent would deal. Recruiter of the Guard. You don't deal any damage. +1 counter on Samurai. Attack for 6. I am about to tap out into their 3 cards in hand plus draw step. This could go awry. I'm just going to hope that it doesn't. Draw a card, discard a card. This is going to mill the land I left on top with Brainstorm. And Teferi can activate on their turn, phase out target creature you don't control. If something super wild happens, I could just zoop it out. Flicker Wisp, okay. We're going to reset Cauldra. Yeah, all right. Caudra's reset, phase out target creature, yep. Caudra's not a creature. Swords to Plowshare, sure, that's fine. That's a card out of their hand I don't care about. Okay, yeah, they're just dumping those out, sure. Those are gone. Cauldra comes back. And I'm not going to activate Teferi because I want this Supreme Verdict. Plus little Teferi. Cast Supreme Verdict. Minus Wandering Emperor. Plus Gideon on Germ Token. And I guess I'll take the just mill myself for 1 here to get loyalty on my Planeswalker. I don't love doing that. I don't think I'm going to do that very much. Because with Ichormoon Gauntlets in the deck and I only play 2 of them, I don't want to just delete one by accident. Probably going to chill on that Teferi for a while. Orcish Bowmaster, powerful card. I can finish off Wandering Emperor. She did a lot. Good work, Wandering Emperor. And now the Yorian's in the hand. All right. It's starting to turn. I do need some big hits here. My Supreme Verdicts are used. Ichormoon Gauntlet would be insane. Oh my goodness. You just keep saying words and they happen. All right, Ichormoon Gauntlet. Resolve this. Now let's see what happens. I don't even know where we go from here. Okay, so Big Teferi is going to proliferate. I'm going to pick your face and all of my Planeswalkers. And then Little Teferi can minus to bounce Orcish Bowmaster. Is that even important? Or I could clear... Nope, I can't bounce the Cauldra Germ. Till your next turn, prevent all... Alright, I'm going to prevent damage from the Germ token. We got a no way in the chat. That's what I'm looking for. Right, proliferate Narset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Little Teferi can bounce Orcish Bowmaster. And I get to actually draw a card here. Cool. All right. Do I keep this Misty in my hand? Yeah, I think I do. All right. I just have to not die for a turn. They're at 4 poison. I can put 5 poison on them this turn cycle. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a tight one. Bowmaster's back. Would I rather proliferate Teferi? Yes. I'm not going to loot in response. Bowmaster's fine. 1 to my Samurai. Uh-oh. Multiple of these. They can clear Little Teferi now with Orc Army Beats. They can't clear Narset because I can proliferate in response. Boom! Yeah, they're attacking Narset. Let's put a loyalty on her. How about that? Zoop. 4. That's 4. Bigger number than 3. Okay. Wow! Yes! That was beautiful. All I had to do was call out exactly what I wanted to draw multiple times. Okay, Moat is not GG versus this deck, but it is good. They do have to find a Flicker Wisp or a Skyclave Apparition kind of thing to clear it, and most of their things do attack on the ground. Damping Sphere, no. Definitely none of these cards. Though, Back to Basics is a little tempting. If we're going to play a long game and they're a 2-color deck with Rashadan Ports and Karakuses, all these tech lands, I have brought in Back to Basics versus Death and Taxes as blue-white before. I actually don't like Null Rod, even though they do have Aether Vials and equipment. I think there's better ways to fight that. Cards that are not good. Force of Negation. I can get slightly chiller on Force of Will. This card is still good, but I do have a lot of play to the board's potential. Dovin does have the same activated ability of as Gideon. The prevent all damage until next turn from a permanent, which was huge that game. So maybe I do like Dovin here. Even though they're not really casting a lot of artifacts, instants, or sorceries. They are pressuring my board. I need all my white removal. I need Dress Down. I only have 20 lands. There's no tech lands to cut here. The Gauntlet is how I actually win. Maybe Subtlety's not actually good, because they just have the card next turn. I could go 1 Ashiok, 1 Moat, 1 Brazen Borrower. No Back to Basics, no Subtleties. The other option is cut another Force of Will to get another one of these sideboard cards in. Cutting Force of Will for Subtlety seems like mostly the same thing. Yeah, maybe I just want Ashiok. This deck is already pretty heavy on search effects between Stoneforges and Recruiter of the Guards, and then they also added a color in there. They have a fetch land mana base now with the Black Splash. Okay, we're going to find out if this was a good idea. Keep Aether Vial on 1 off of a basic Swamp. Gonna get basic Island and cast Ponder. As you do, Supreme Verdict and other Ponder Source of Plowshares. Every one of these cards is good. I'm gonna put the Ponder in my hand and the Supreme Verdict at the bottom of the pile. I do need land number 4 to play the game, especially if they have Thalia, then I'm gonna need land number 5, so maybe Supreme Verdict is a later problem. This is why I hid the white cards, let them Thoughtseize me. Swords to Plowshares is the most imminently relevant card of the 9 that I've seen, which is why it's on top of my deck instead of in my hand against the Thoughtseize strategy. Teferi is what they're worried about. They can't Bowmaster right now, which makes it seem like a good time to ponder. If I find a land, I might keep the Supreme Verdict. Okay. Nothing useful here. I'm just going to shuffle this. And I'll play the basic planes. This can snipe a Mother if it comes out of Aether Vial right now, before it locks out everything. They're going to fetch a Surveil land. There it is. And another land. 4 cards in hand to my 6, but they have Aether Vial ticking up. This could be Thalia, which turns off the plow in my hand. Yep. All right. They know whatever they're going to do right now is going to work. What's the tutor? Are we going for Stoneforge to try to win the game? Are we going to try to get a value engine going? Are we going to set up Bowmaster? Bowmaster is the plan. Another Prologue to Pheresis. I could just fire one of these now. I think I'm going to do that, actually. Island, I'm going to Prologue now before it actively hurts me to do it. I did find the land. It was not a white source, but that's okay. At least I found a land. Now I can plow Thalia and cast a Prologue in the same turn. Stoneforge is here. I'm likely to plow that instead, and then just figure out how to beat Thalia elsewhere. They do have the thing going here. That Supreme Verdict I shuffled away. Unfortunately, there was no white source anywhere in those ponders, or else this would be a great board to shove Supreme Verdict onto. All right, gotta plow, or I'm gonna wait until the end step, actually, because that Vial on 3 is representing Flicker Wisp. And if I plow a Stoneforge, I don't want it to come back right away. There's one unknown card in the hand. And despite having a powerful 2-drop they could Vial in, they still took Vial up to 3. Okay. Was not Flicker Wisp, or this was not the time they wanted to use Flicker Wisp. Here's Yorion in the hand. They didn't take Vial up to 4, though. Interesting. Okay, deck. White source? Ooh, white source. I can just slam Moat right now, make them figure out what they're going to do with the Yorion. I could also... No, I can't Prologue twice. That costs 6. Yeah, I'm just going to fetch for basic planes and try to take some pressure off. I know Yorion can flicker Recruiter, which could find answer to Moat. Okay, they already had the apparition. Never mind. They were ready to go. That was the 3 they were holding last turn. Okay. We are getting picked apart this game. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm at 3. I have to draw exactly a Supreme Verdict to play this game, though it is a good draw, as usual, against the creature strategy. It's a good draw this turn. It won't be enough anymore starting next turn. Here they come. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to keep the Supreme Verdict and figure out lands otherwise. Shuffling away that Verdict twice feels pretty bad, but now that I'm looking at this board. But Yorion can flicker Recruiter, who can get Flicker Wisp, which Aether Vial means that they don't beat... I don't win with Supreme Verdict anyway. Okay, yeah, they got me. Yeah, if they tutor Flicker Wisp here, I'll just draw my card, then concede. Tutored Recruiter, okay. That also kills me, because they can just tutor a Bowmaster. All right, and I didn't draw the card anyway. All right. Game 3. Now we get to be on the play. Thinking about Subtlety again. Still don't like Null Rod. I have Teferis and Marches that can answer Aether Vials if they even draw one. Could add Subtleties, get off Force of Will entirely, and they're just all Subtleties now. Subtlety works under Thalia, where Force doesn't. Back to Basics and Moat are the big maybes here, and I think they're both no's. Yeah, Moat's just too easy for them to answer. I'm off it. I'll bring that in versus Goblins and Initiative. Okay, the 6-lander. I'll keep this. I don't mind one bit. Meticulous Archive card selection. Ichormoon Gauntlet. Ooh, I don't want that, but I also don't want to graveyard it because I don't play that many of them. That's really awkward. I would prefer this to be Scry 1 pretty hard here. All right, I'm going to bin that. There's still one in the deck. It's not helpful right now, though, and D&T getting up under you is how you lose. Either Vile, okay. March of Otherworldly Light arriving right on time. Zap that out. And a suspicious black colorless open going into my turn. What could that mean? I'll play out a Tundra, already exposed to Wasteland. Let's just have good mana. Wow, what? No way. The Bowmaster is attacking. Wonder how many Bowmasters are actually in this hand right now. I mean, Subtlety was a great draw. Now I have 2 powerful things to do on 4, depending on what they show me. Got the Surveil land, bin to Prismatic Vista, Schadenport, put Yorion in hand. They shouldn't attack here. Sick, but they did. All right. I will put in a 2/2 and try to block Orcish Bowmaster. This opens up Swords to Plowshares, but that's fine if I get to keep my Wandering Emperor. That was an acceptable exchange to me. I drew Gideon. That card's really good. I'm going to make a 2/2 and then hold up Subtlety. The Orient in their hand. 5 mana available. Solitude. That's interesting. I could Subtlety this, so I will. All right. I'm going to Subtlety this and just take the exchange that's in front of me. I could have let this happen, then ambushed with Subtlety and eaten Bowmaster, but then I still lose Wandering Emperor, and I'm down a creature, where now I'm actually kind of pushing. And I don't normally do this, but I am going to fetch to thin my deck a little, because even the Brainstorm I'd normally hold that for isn't a great draw right now, and we spiked immediately. Okay. +1 counter on Samurai token. And I'm going to attack with my creatures. Gideon can plus on Bowmaster, and then it doesn't hurt me anymore. That's actually interesting, and I am going to pursue it. If they still make the Orc army, prevent all damage target permanent would deal. Yeah, okay. Bowmaster doesn't deal damage. The Orc army still gets big, but I can send a Brainstorm if I need to. Okay, here's the Solitude. I'm going to let this happen. They get to deal 1 to Wandering Emperor, and then I can Brainstorm in the end step. This is a little bit of a risk, but I think it's worth it. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by this. Yep, that is how that works. Put back 2 lands. I did find Swords to Plowshares. That's a good find. Piling up a bunch of damage on my Planeswalkers that isn't going to actually happen. Fetch another Tundra. I'm out of those. Okay, that damage is prevented. Go to my turn. Narset, okay. Narset, activate. We know Yorion's in the hand. Ashiok, March, Brainstorm, Ponder. It's not Ashiok. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm going to take March. And I'm going to plus on Orc Army. I'm going to put a +1 counter on Subtlety. And I'm going to fetch and exile Orcish Bowmaster right now. What I'm hoping for here is that they have to turtle up for a turn and try to use Yorion to flicker the Solitude, and then I could plow Solitude, and then I have 3 Planeswalkers and a 5/5 to their nothing. Skyclave Apparition. Okay. I think this works out the same if they target Subtlety. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the same thing. I plow that, I get a 4/4. Block Solitude. Plow this. If they have a plow of their own, they can get an exchange here. All right, looks like we're getting a blocks. An Orcish Bowmaster here does finish off my illusion as well. And Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, okay. I'm untapping with my engines online. Let's see what they do. Big Narset. Big hits. Let's go. Ponder's a good start, and there's not currently a Bowmaster in play. I'm going to start with Narset. Teferi or Gauntlet? All right, Teferi. I think Gauntlet's a later problem. I want Teferi. I'll take Teferi. And then I'm going to ponder before I Teferi because I want to make sure I can answer things. Yeah, okay, nice. All right. How much mana do I have? Prologue into Plow into Teferi. I can do all this. Yeah, all right. I'll take the Prologue Deferesis. Cast it. You're poisoned now. You're on notice. Teferi Time Raveler. Bounce the Orc Army. Swords of Plowshares, the Stoneforge Mystic. Gideon's a 4/4. Make a 2/2. Attack for 8. They are dead on board. They got to figure this out. Okay, good turn. Can still flip it. Death and Dexes is tricky. Recruiter of the Guard. Okay, Bowmaster can pick off whichever Planeswalker they're most worried about here. And create 2 blockers. I imagine Wandering Emperor is the one that's going to go. Yep. I have another Narset who can dig. And I have a lot of damage on the board. Narset, let's go. Activate. How about a removal spell? Prologue, Dress Down, Ponder, Brainstorm. I'm going to take the Dress Down. Plus Teferi. They're going to have to block at least some of these things I'm attacking. Just in aggro mode now. Race to the finish. Okay, they're just chump blocking Gideon going to 4. And I'll pass the turn. Dress Down stops most of the worst things that could happen here. And I have a 2/2 in front of their 2 1/1s. Skyclave Apparition. I'm going to dress this down. I don't want them to have nothing. Never. Subtlety. Thalia. Okay. I will continue bringing the beats next turn. And they're holding Yorion. They've worked really hard to get to a spot where Yorion might actually be effective, and I have Subtlety for it. Narset, let's go. Swords to Plowshares in the grip. Plus Teferi. Gideon becomes a 4/4. I'm going to plow Thalia before combat because she wipes out my Vigilance creature for free. That does give them 2 extra life to work with, but I think the Subtlety is going to seal it here. Yeah, they're just in chump block mode, down to 2 life. The Bowmaster's gone, which means I can ponder. Dovin Emperor. Yeah, I'll put this Emperor in my hand. Play my land and pass. Subtlety, let's bring it home. They can attack and finish off Narset here. Yeah, I don't care about that. There's actually a line here where Wandering Emperor just eats this, then I don't care about Yorion. But I'd rather just... I think this is the safer thing to do. Still undefeated, trophy run, let's go! The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bazaar Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 Foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3, handful of cantrips and lands I'm going to keep. Opponent mulled to 6. I do have a Force of Negation if they send some nonsense quickly. Down to 5. Uh-oh. I'm much more comfortable in fair matchups than unfair matchups with this deck. We'll see what happens, though. Yeah, I'm going to ponder off of a basic. If this is the, Scam Reanimator blue-black deck that's been popular lately, they're a Wasteland deck, in addition to everything else that's going on. Oh, awkward. I don't know if I want these cards or not. It's been a long time since I looked at a ponder, and I'm straight up like, well, I have no idea. I just don't know what the matchup is. If they're blue-black Scam that mulled to 5, this spread is great. Just a basic Plains, a removal spell, and then a powerful Planeswalker. If they're Reanimator, this hand sucks. All right. I will put March of Otherworldly Light in my hand with Gideon under it, and we'll see how this goes. I can't force an end step Entomb. Okay. Surveil Land. I'm less worried about those. They kept the card. It's like they didn't even have a Surveil Land in their deck. Got him. Unmask targeting me. Pitching Grizzlebrand. Well, okay, have a look, I guess. Just Entomb Reanimate from here. Obviously the Force is gone. Lotus Petal. 2 cards left. Entomb Reanimate. Son of a biscuit. Yeah, I would have kept that Surveil too. Oh wait, they're passing. New life. You're saying there's a chance. Well, I'm going to brainstorm and see if I can get out of this somehow. Narset's pretty good. I don't think I need basic lands against this deck. Prologue to Pheresis is a later problem. If their Reanimate spell is Animate Dead, I can beat it with March by pitching one of these white cards. All right, I'm going to put back Prologue and Tundra, and then use Arid Mesa to fetch, and hope that Animate Dead is actually the card. I can't beat a Shallow Grave here. I can't beat a Reanimate here. If they somehow just have nothing, though. All right, cool. I'm fetching my Surveil land. Archive. Trigger. Don't need a Flooded Strand. I'd love a Force of Will. Okay, they're Shallow Graving in the end step, which means I don't get bashed with the Grizzlebrand, but they do draw a bunch. That's really interesting. Why would you be worried about that particular timing out of all the things that could happen here? A Teferi versus Gideon versus Narset versus Dovin. Dovin's actually really tempting here. Okay, I am going to play Dovin. And Shallow Grave, exiled at the beginning of the next M step, so that's about to go. I don't need to minus. Hopefully this Dovin squeezes them enough that I don't die right now. But they did just draw 7. Lotus Petals cost 1. Reanimates cost 2. Shallow Graves cost 3. Artifact, Instant, and Sorcery, your opponent's cast costs 1 more. And now I have to just turtle up with the Super Friends. I wasn't expecting to get to turn 4 after that turn 2 Entomb. But now that we're here, I have some game. Oh, they just fetched a tap land into my Dovin. This feels like an opponent who is not doing what they want. All right, yeah, they're unmasking me for 1 mana. Just see 5 of the same card functionally. They took Gideon. Swords of Plowshares. Playing Narset. Find a Force. Force of Will right in the grip. Let's go. Shields are up. Gotta win somehow, but the shields are up. Reanimate target Atraxa. And Teferi could bounce Atraxa, and I could keep this Force in my hand. If Atraxa finds Grief, it could strip the Force, and then everything's worse. Alright, I'll just force this pitching. I think I pitched a Teferi here, actually. The backup Narset keeping the cards coming is more important than them not playing instants, because Dovin is already constricting what they can do in a turn pretty well. Drew an Island. Narset finds another Teferi. Had it anyway. Teferi. And I think I plus Teferi, just in case something ends up in play that I don't like. Okay, they're fetching. Another Surveil land. This black-green Reanimator deck is so sweet. Just, who knew? A new cycle of dual lands would just spawn a new archetype. Shallow Grave. Okay. This will return Atraxa. I can plow Atraxa. Let's see the cards. There is a Grief over there. And another Grave. Thoughtseize Reanimate. Pretty good. We'll see what they want to do with it. I have Swords of Plowshares here. Okay, they kept Animate Dead, Archon of Cruelty, Lotus Petal, Shallow Grave, Swamp, Thoughtseize. I'm going to see what Planeswalker they attack, see which one they care about. That just gives me free information here before I plow this Atraxa. And if they attack Narset, I just let it die. Okay, they're going for Dovin. That makes sense. Plow the Atraxa. They can go to discard. I playing out Lotus Petal for 1. And they go to discard, dropping Archon of Cruelty, I imagine. This is a big turn to find a spell that kills Archon of Cruelty. Minus Teferi on nothing. Just see as many cards as I can this turn is the goal. Ponder, Force of Will. They have Thoughtseize over there. Oh, that's actually annoying. That means they could do multiple things. Yeah, they could Thoughtseize plus Shallow Grave. The Archon will kill 2 of my Planeswalkers. Yeah, I actually need a lot here. Oh, I might just March of Otherworldly Light their Lotus Petal. And then they can't double spell. Well, I mean, they have 7 cards in their hand. There might be a land in there. Controversial opinion. I'm not going to shuffle. And I guess I still brainstorm here. Okay, we just hit everything. That's good news. Okay, put back. Land, other thing. March of Otherworldly Light the Lotus Petal. I can force and plow. And I'm holding... Yeah, I can force and plow if I need to do both. They do have land number 3. A Thoughtseize, go ahead. they'll probably take Plow because that's the cleaner one. Make me double spell if I want to fend them off. Knowing I'm drawing a land next turn with no ability to see more cards is tough because they could figure this out. And knowing Animate Dead's in their hand, maybe attacking that Lotus Petal, just hoping they wouldn't have a land in their 7-card hand might have been too hopeful. Animate Dead doesn't cost 1 more either. Artifact instant sorcery is what Dovin says. Plow's gone. Grief. Oh wow, they got it all. Grief pitching Thoughtseize. All right. Well, sure. My hand is going to be empty at the end of this turn, and I've probably lost. Taking the blue card, not the Force of Will, because I can't use the Force of Will anyway. That is the correct way to do that. Oh wow, they're reanimating Grief too. They're just leaving me with nothing, rather than jamming the Archon now. I mean, I'll take that. That is life I didn't think I was going to get. Plus Teferi, minus Dovin on Grief. I think Dovin may have run his course here. They get to draw. How this is ordered. You draw a card and gain 3 life is the end of this. So if I sack Narset to the first Archon trigger, they do get to draw a card because Narset will be gone by then. I have to sacrifice something other than Narset if I want that to happen. Which probably means Dovin is at the end of his chain here. Shallow Grave resolves. Oh, I guess they had to reanimate the Grief, or else Shallow Grave would have brought that back, because that's how that stupid old card works. They're fetching in response to their alleged draw trigger. They've been to Grief. Okay. I'm going to sack Dovin here, so they don't draw a card. They can clear all my Planeswalkers. Well, if they attack one of my Planeswalkers, I could sack that one. So if they just attack Narset, I sack her. They do get to draw a card, but I don't take any additional damage in combat. Okay, or they could clear everything. This is pretty all in, though. Like, 2 of these are getting exiled at the end of the turn. 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, if they just go face here, I can't fetch, and I know my top of my deck's a brick. Right. Yeah, they're just going face. All right, they found the line. Never mind. Tilt. I guess I have to sacrifice Narset then, because I need to Fairy to draw a card and maybe play this game. I'm at 1, and I get 1 draw here. Have to draw a basic island. They've got 2 cards left in their hand. One of them's Animate Dead. I can bounce this Grief and take the pressure off. Prologue to Pheresis. We're still playing the game, kids. Okay, they have 1 poison counter. There's no creatures in their graveyard. They can cast Grief, which does present lethal, but my deck's full of removal and cantrips. Fingers are crossed here. High octane magic from here. Come on, deck, draw a good card. Braidstorm's among the best that there is. Lorien Revealed. Oh no, this fetch land's gonna kill me. Yeah, I have to cast Lorien Revealed, and then I don't have Solitude White card, especially knowing that my top 2 draws are gonna be. Alright. That was an exciting game. 1 life point was the difference there. Okay. Playing against Reanimator. Ashiok, Surgical, for sure. Celestial Purge, yes. Deafening Silence, maybe. Damping Sphere, probably not. No on Moat. Deafening Silence makes it hard to Thoughtseize plus go off or do like multiple things in a turn. Also makes it hard for me to cantrip my way out if I get stuck. Dress Down is cool versus the Shallow Grave build. I don't think I want Supreme Verdicts in. They're too slow. Dovin was actually the hero of that game. Would have been over a lot sooner if he wasn't around. I don't think I could play Teferi at Master of Time here. Wandering Emperor is fine versus Shallow Grave. March of Otherworldly Light's pretty bad. I could shave a Prologue to Pheresis and just assume that not dying is the same as winning. I think I want Brazen Borrower if that's the case too, and shave another Prologue. I actually do like Swords of Plowshares versus this build of Reanimator. I normally don't like it, because if you're plowing Grizzlebrands and Atraxas after getting 7 for 1 for them, you're losing that game. But if they're sending Griefs and stuff, or if they have a Witherbloom combo, pivot, or anything like that, I want to know about it. Okay, let's try it like this. Oh no, gotta mulligan this. This one's a little better. I'll keep it and put Gauntlet on the bottom. Bona kept 7. I didn't beat their mull to 5, so the 7 is tough. Getting griefed here. Do I plow this Grief? This is always so hard. Alright, I'm not going to plow the Grief. I imagine they'll take Swords to Plowshares here. That Grief Pitch to Reanimate. That feels like someone who has a Reanimate in their hand already. Surveil Land, dump to Surveil Land. Prologue to Pheresis. Okay. That's at least a cantrip to move the game forward. Another Mortuary. And they are reanimating Grief. I'm going to let this resolve. I'm not going to bounce the Grief in response is what I'm saying. Yeah, they took Brazen Borrower. Now I'm going to prologue in the end step and try to do something with my life. Prologue. Wandering Emperor. That's a good card. Arid Mesa. They know about that one. Narset. I could try to draw a card here or just have Narset in play for a turn cycle. I think a card's more important. Celestial Purge, Force of Will, Dress Down. I'm going to take the Force and make them respect Force blue card. They don't know these two cards in my hand. Witherbloom Apprentice has resolved. They do have the Juke. Narset's dead. Can I draw the blue card? Absolutely not. Okay, I'll pass here and hope they don't go for the combo. I'd love it if they attacked with Witherbloom Apprentice. Yeah, okay, sick. Island, Wandering Emperor. Do I think they're going to have a removal spell? No. So I'm going to make a Samurai so I can make another Samurai and just trade off rather than minus on it. And I guess they could reanimate it this way. Another Witherbloom Apprentice. Dark Ritual. Am I dead? Yikes. All right. Well, we've lost. I guess you're all getting another league. Yeah, if this was a blue card, we are, kind of stable. We're still behind, actually. They're just bashing for 5. My life total's low. Let's see. No, I'm not going to draw a card. Doesn't matter. Okay, on to the next round. We'll have to do this again. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw in round 4 with just a Plains for mana. I'm going to mulligan this one. Oh, come on. There's only 2 plays of the deck. I didn't like it on 7. This one does have Plow and March in it, though. I'm actually going to keep this and bottom Dovin. Is the having cards to cast versus not having cards to cast, having 7 cards versus 6, I'm just not interested in a 5-card hand. I play a lot of blue sources. Let's run it. Ponder from the opponent. Decks that play Tundra Ponder should probably be structurally good matchups for me if I could play the game. We'll see if I play the game. Uh-oh. If they Beanstalk here, it's going to hurt. Oh, Light from the Loam. That hurts less. Come on, blue source. Shit. All right, hard mode activated. I'm drawing live to 20 hits there in 3 looks and didn't hit it. It's fine. If there's a Light from the Loam control deck, it might not matter that we miss a land drop this early if they can't apply pressure. Touching with Flooded Strand. Looks like a many-color soup pile. Burrow. I'm just going to plow this on the front. There's a good chance I go to cleanup and have to discard a card next turn anyway. Let's just deal with Uro now. Come on, deck. All right. The Sad Spiral. I wonder if I was still live for the trophy, if I would have gone to 5 or not. Change how risk-averse I am based on if I'm playing for anything or not. Another Uro. I'm not going to exile this one on the front because it would cost me multiple cards to do it. I'd have to pitch 2 cards to March of Otherworldly Light. Just 3 for 0 myself. Hard pass. Light from the Loam. Leyline Binding Solitude. It's a little 5-color nonsense over there. I'm actually going to concede before I show them that I'm a blue deck at all. That was pretty awkward. It's okay, though. We'll figure it out. Back to Basics comes in. Ashiok Game Ender comes in. Surgical Extraction is something that I like having 1 copy of, but I'm not going to go crazy like their Reanimator deck. Force of Will is less important here. Dovin's not important here. Dress Down's probably not important here. And I could probably back off of a Swords to Plowshares as well. Oh wait, no, I could cut the Supreme Verdicts, get Swords to Plowshares back in, and get another card back. Subtletying an Uro is pretty cool. Oh, I cut a Force of Will before I cut a Force of Negation. Yeah, Negation's worse than Will. We did see Loam, though. Maybe it's not. And it's easier to hard cast if we get like a mid-game Beanstalk cast against us. Alright, I'm mostly looking for back to basics this game. I'll keep my hand, it's a miracle. I'll start with Meticulous Archive. Wandering Emperor, yeah, I'd like that one. Xander's Lounge. Ponder. 3 Swords of Plowshares, any order, shuffle. Through the Gauntlet, I like that better. And I'll play Tundra. It's awkward that I don't have access to a basic mountain at all, or basic island at all. Yeah, super awkward basic mountain missing, a card that's not in my deck. I'm pitching Ichormoon Gauntlet because I think Ashiok's going to be better if I resolve anything this turn. Okay, they're forcing back to keep their Beans. I think it is right to force Beans, by the way, in Bane matchups. Because if it resolves, and even if you have like Disenchant in your hand to kill the Beanstalk, once it resolves, if they force the Disenchant, they're up cards. I think it's right to have the fight here. Force pitching Brainstorm. Okay. You've got your Beans, and I'm bummed about it. I'm going to play the Game Ender. Might not end the game this early, but hopefully it does. If their hand is just all fetch lands, it's pretty good. If their hand is 2 Force of Wills and their Beanstalk, yeah, whatever. Fine, fine. We're losing this match too. Wasteland, okay. I don't mind that. Do they also have their Loam? Can't catch a break here. Okay. I can get set back up here. The back to basics still does work. I am weirdly exposed to Wasteland though, given the matchup and my deck. Wasteland, I'm gonna float blue. Now their mana's open. Even if I draw and resolve a back to basics, they can Leyline Bind it. I need to catch them tapped out. They did dredge the Loam, just hit a bunch of lands, Basic Plains, Mystic Sanctuary, Flooded Strand. It is card advantageous. That Wasteland's not going to find another target this game, though. I'll fetch around it forever. And I'm going to do the rarely seen but desperately relevant deck thinning here. Okay, I'll go for Wandering Emperor this turn and see what happens. They've used 2 forces already. At least 3 of the cards in their hand are lands. And Wandering Emperor, even if they Leyline Bind it, still leaves something behind. Island, Plains, Emperino. Brainstorm in response. It did resolve. I'll make a Samurai. And successfully untapped with it. That's surprising, but I like it. I'm going to make another Samurai right now. And then I'm going to play Gauntlet and be ready to prologue. Let's go, Gauntlet. Let's make it weird. Got a little engine going here. Attack for 2. And I can prologue to give them a poison counter and up Wandering Emperor's loyalty. They're fetching right now. Got a Tropical Island. Is something happening with that? Brainstorm. I'm going to prologue now. I think it's likely to resolve. All I'm trying to do is resolve this card. Drawing an island's not great. They may or may not be a Bowmaster deck. I suspect they're not, based on the lands they've been fetching and having Loams and Basic Blades and stuff, but 5-color decks obviously can cast any card. That's the appeal. They just shuffled... They just brainstormed Terminus Uro to the top of their deck and then dredged them with Loam. So they're valuing Uro over Terminus here. Which may or may not be correct. We'll see. Uro's pretty good to have in play versus random creatures. Can't argue with it. Okay, what I want to do here is draw Narset and rip into Teferi, or draw Teferi and rip into Narset. That's the best turn I could have. I would take just some white removal spell, though. Or I could get nothing. And like it. Do I want to Proliferate? Proliferate gives them a poison, and plussing doesn't actually change anything. Yeah, okay. I want Wandering Emperor to be able to exile Uro next turn, and I'm going to take the line that also poisons them in the process of doing that. I am obviously way behind and losing. I played 3 Narset in the deck out of respect for Beanstalk, because I know that the old school blue-white control decks do not hang versus the new school engines, the Fire Design engines. But Narset does shut down Beanstalk, which is the primary one. Maybe 4 Narset is right for the next round with this deck. Block. They have 10 cards in their hand. Good chance one of them can kill Wandering Emperor. Basic Plains. Something's happening. Teferi. Okay. And Wandering Emperor's not dead yet. Oro's hanging out there exposed at the moment. Bouncing my Gauntlet. That's the correct amount of respect for that card. Plowing the Samurai. Okay, moment of truth. They're still fetching. They're still casting spells. Stop! White mana, my nemesis. Leyline Binding. I'm dead. Yeah, I'll definitely have to solve this matchup. I think against the Reanimator deck, I had tools and they just came up a little short. All right, we're dead here. I definitely have to think about the list more for Beanstalk control mirrors, because this thing resolving was just lights out. And they did have double force in their opening hand, and the second one was post Beanstalk, so they're just ripping. But yeah, I gotta figure this one out somehow. Maybe I'll add a color for the next run. On to the final round.
The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop.
I'm on the play for the final round. Positive record on the line. I'm going to keep this. Island Ponder. Bunch of Planeswalkers. Gonna send my Ponder here. I'm looking for a land to cast my Planeswalkers. If my Ponder has a Force of Will and a land in it, I wouldn't complain. Okay, removal spell Gauntlet, third land. I'll take the third land, and I'll float that Gauntlet, third card down. This might be the fastest we set the engine up, or maybe I shuffle it away desperately looking for something else to do, depending on what this matchup ends up being. But I have a fetch and a non-fetch that casts Swords to Plowshares if I want to keep or get rid of that land. Or that Gauntlet. Blue to Delta, okay. Underground Sea. Could be anything. This is one of the biggest switches of the last year. Is a year ago, Underground Sea meant Doomsday. And now it could be Scam, Grixis, Doomsday, Storm, Blue-Black Reanimator is popular. So many things. Sultai Beans. We just don't know what Blue to Delta Underground Sea means anymore. We did not shuffle. Grief, pitching, animate dead. Okay, so the answer is Scam. At least Scam, maybe Blue-Black Reanimator. Probably Swords of Plowshares is the take here. And I'm definitely shuffling away that Gauntlet. They did take the Plow. No surprise there. March of Otherworldly Light can beat an Animate Dead, which is something they just pitch from their hand. It's not useful against Reanimate. Ponder. Shuffled their library, missed a land drop. Okay. We take those. I have to get Tundra here, or I could get Archive. Yeah, I have to get a dual land here, is what I'm saying, because I want to cast Narset, and Arid Mesa doesn't do that very well. Land number 4 locked up. I will put that on top. And even though there's a good chance, or no, I'm going to play Dovin. I was going to say even though there's a good chance of Forcer Days here, Dovin is the one that squeezes them the hardest if it resolves, and I care less than Narset if it doesn't. Yeah, okay. Dazed that one. You got me. And then Narset in the bank for next turn. If they don't reanimate Grief right now. There's the land. Entomb. Okay. Just slamming an Entomb. Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard. Finding a blue card was really important there because I want Narset to find a Force of Will. But that wouldn't have been good enough without a blue card. Yikes. Force pitching Atraxa. Okay, they are Blue-Black Reanimator. Just fully reanimation-y. And it's all a hybrid now, but there's like versions of Scam with one Archon of Cruelty in there and some Entombs. And then there's versions with 2 or 3 hitters they could drop. And we've seen 2 hitters already because they pitched the Atraxa to that Force. They're missing land drops. I'm hitting land drops. If I could get the Wandering Emperor down, we could start pressuring. Yikes. All right. Or we could just die to Archon of Cruelty. I'm going to discard Ichormoon Gauntlet here. That was a good draw. They just didn't do anything last turn, and suddenly they have Reanimate. Well done. Okay, I have to take another trigger from Archon of Cruelty if I'm going to exile it with Wandering Emperor, which is now my plan. Yeah, I'm just going to pass here and hope they don't have another Force blue card. Or a pre-combat Grief. I guess I still exile the Archon, I just lose my Wandering Emperor if they pre-combat discard me. Brainstorm. Okay. Here comes the Archon. I have to let the trigger resolve, or else I would end up sacrificing Wandering Emperor, which gives them yet another draw. 6 cards in their hand. They've already forced me once. They've dazed me once. They can't daze me. Just fade the force here. Let me play the game a little bit, please. Outrageous. Okay, my Emperor is countered, pitching daze. I get draw step plus prologue next turn to find a Swords to Plowshares, or even to Fairy would be fine. Just something to interact at all. Force of Will. The middle finger high in the air from my deck. Cycling Troll in response to prologue. Okay. I am at 6. Even if I answer Archon here, the Troll has me in check forever. All right. Force of Will showing up after I need them. Classic. Surgicals, Ashioks. Brazen Borrowers. Celestial Purge. Marches out. Big Teferi out. I think I like Supreme Verdict well enough against the potential scam juke with Bowmasters and stuff. Dothy Voidwalkers, whatever. I'm going to cut some prologues. I actually think 3 is the correct number of prologues to be in the main deck. Now that I've played this once, that's going to be in the rebuild in a minute here. Supreme Verdict being blue for my 5 forces and a removal spell if they're on the fair plan is a lot to like. I like Dovin. Gideon's probably mid if I'm bringing in Ashioks. This deck could play Rest in Peace. I don't really use my graveyard for anything. I thought of that before the league started and then backed off it, but it might be in the next build. On the play with a Force and a Surgical and lands to play the game, I'm in. Misty Rainforest, pass. Getting griefed right away. Come get me. They pitched an Orcish Bowmasters, confirmed present in the deck. Took the Surgical, that is the cleanest answer to their best plan. Makes sense. And reanimate. Well, I lose this either way. I'm gonna force a negation this. Put my hopes on Teferi. If they force this back and I'm just hellbent on turn 0, or turn 1, heck yeah. Alright. Well, Meticulous Archive, save me. This is the scam half. They're willing to just get rid of all their cards to be slightly ahead on turn 1. Fetch for Meticulous Archive, get that selection. Sweet, sweet card selection. Built into the mana base. Brainstorm, put on top. I like that card. Play my land so I don't get dazed, and Brainstorm. Plow and Force. I like those. I don't like Force. Never mind. No, I don't. I'll put back Plains and Force and just pass here. I don't want to shove into Daze if I can avoid it, and I have 3 lands. Force Will doesn't help me with 3 lands and no blue card. They've got a Ponder. If their hand after this Ponder is Thoughtseize plus Daze as exactly the 2 cards, then they're going to clear my Plow, but also they're fully hellbent, and I'm drawing Wild into my deck full of powerful Planeswalkers. We'll find out, I guess. And if their hand is Thoughtseize no Daze, then they take 2 damage for nothing. Cycling Troll, okay. There's a basic Swamp in their hand. I'm going to fetch a basic Island, because I'm not casting any spells this turn anyway. Island, Plains, Swords to Plowshares, just send it now. They can't force a negation me, because the other card in their hand is a Swamp, even if it is force a negation. If their last card is Reanimate, then Troll's going to have me under some pressure, but I'm drawing heavy to answers to it. Okay, they pass out of play. They got 2 cards in hand to my also 2 cards in hand. I'm going to stick the mighty Ichormoon Gauntlet right now. You don't know what's coming. If they want to spend any interaction on this on an empty board, be my guest. I wonder if I want more Meticulous Archives in the deck. I am worried about hitting land number 3 and land number 4 on time and then being untapped. But you usually fetch twice before you get to that point, and spots like this one that we've been in multiple times in the league would be great spots to do that. Petty Theft, okay. I mean, that kind of interaction is fine, I guess. And cycled another Troll. Okay, so they are also hellbent, but they do have a Brazen Borrower in exile, but all their spells have been used. And they're drawn random. Undercity Sewers. So good. Card selection, hid right in there. And they drew Ponder for turn. Also real good. Chose to shuffle. If they play the Sewers, they can't Brazen Borrow this turn. Okay. Sewers it is. And they kept the card. Terrifying. Okay, deck, this would be a great time to rip a Narset, Teferi, something good, some big Planeswalker. Narset. How about Narset? We said Narset. They got one card in hand. It would have to be like Spell Pierce to beat Narset here. I guess Sheoldred's Edict would remove it, but I would get the hit in between. I will take Swords to Plowshares here. That is something I can cast for 1, and if they did just float a reanimation spell on top of their deck, I have Troll covered. They are reanimating the Troll. There it is. They know I've got an answer. If their last card is Daze, that's trouble for me. I'd probably just go to my turn to play around that. Yep, go into my turn, draw, Prologue, activate Narset, 2 plows, and a force. Okay, I'll take the other plow. And as much as I would like to get this Ichormoon Gauntlet down and start proliferating onto Narset, or adding counters to Narset, I have to pass here and just play around the days that they might be showing me. Okay, they tap out for Brazen Borrower. I plow the Troll, plow the Borrower, then I'm going to Prologue to Pheresis. All in that order. This protects Narset. If they have any cantrips in their hand, they're frozen right now. Already exposed to Wasteland, going to grab a Tundra. Make sure I can keep double white if they draw 1 Wasteland. Found a Brainstorm. Okay. What I don't want them to have is Orcish Bowmaster that kills my Narset. They pass without a play, so they either have Bowmaster or nothing here. Ichormoon Gauntlet, get in there. Force blue card up is nice. I'm just gonna relax. Oh, they forced pitching Daze. I was right to play around the Daze, look at that. Do I think Ichormoon Gauntlet is better than Brainstorm and Force in this spot? No freaking chance. Okay. And I will just pass the turn from here. That's 1 Gauntlet down, there's another in the deck somewhere. They're just slamming Brainstorm into Narset. You can put that directly into your graveyard. They're lucky they didn't have any other cards in hand, or they'd be on top of the deck too. Draw for turn. Dovin, let's go. Start freezing stuff up. Turns out they were right to counter the Ichormoon Gauntlet, though, or I would be ripping right now. Grief. I'm gonna Brainstorm in response, and I will hide Brainstorm and Teferi on top of my deck. They can have this Force of Will. It's fine. Island, Teferi, plus Teferi, minus Dovin. I would rather Brainstorm with multiple cards in my hand next turn than just bounce Grief, have to cast Brainstorm with no cards. The Grief takes whatever I leave behind. I think I can do better if I wait a turn. If I find Gauntlet, I win the game here. Okay, they're just passing back. No attacks. Bowmaster can't show up at instant speed, so I don't have to think about that right now. Okay, bounce the Grief. Get an extra card in my hand. That's a good card to have in my hand. Brainstorm. Gauntlet. Okay, if I put back Supreme Verdict and Ponder, then Grief's going to miss and I resolve a Planeswalker. Okay. Time to turn this thing around. I'm drawing Ponder next turn. Grief's going to miss. I have it covered in with multiple Planeswalkers. Emperor in response. Grief misses. And in the end step, I'm going to make a 2/2. Yeah, I do want the Ponder. I don't think I want the Supreme Verdict around. I'm going to Ponder before I fetch. Just wanting to make sure I can control all the cards I see in this tight little board state. Okay. Ashyak Game Ender is good. Don't shuffle that. Game Ender, target you. Splat. I'm going to offer a trade with the Samurai. Because if they take it, I don't need to use Dovin. They were not interested. In that case, I'll Dovin plus Teferi minus Emperor. They can't fetch, they can't cantrip, they can't reanimate. Those are most of the things that their deck does. Orcish Bowmaster is still a good card, though. Land number 5, and they shoved it into play. That makes me think they have Force of Will, but they can't cast it with Dovin anyway. Othy Voidwalker. That card's pretty annoying, actually, because I'm about to draw Narset, and I don't want them to have a Narset in the Void. I think I'm still going to send it, though. If Narset just finds an answer to Voidwalker, then that's not a problem. Okay, Narset. Keep this one. Other Narsets in the Void. Activate. Ponder. I'll take Ponder. Use the Ponder. Force and some lands. Shuffle that. Okay. We have Whiffed. +1 counter on Samurai token. Attack with my creatures. I could bounce Voidwalker with Teferi, but then Teferi's gone. I start losing Planeswalkers to any removal spell. Like, both their creatures are difficult to block here. Okay, I'm actually gonna cash in the Teferi to bounce Voidwalker, which also puts Teferi in the Void. And I'm gonna Dove in the Grief. I think this is the safest way to do this. And I'm gonna pass the turn. I don't like doing that, but that was a weirdly effective card in that spot because of the good things I was putting in the Void, not because I care about graveyard hate. I'm gonna fetch here, get that out of the way. Tundra's in play. I have 3 Swords to Plowshares in the graveyard. That's a lot of those that I've used. Okay, they scooped it up. Good, that was getting dicey. Okay, they appear to be scammier than they were in game 1, or at least they're plan on rolled that way. I'd like another March of Otherworldly Light in here. I think I'm actually going to shave Force of Negation. Celestial Purge is good against both plans. Subtlety is good against one plan, bad against another. Gideon's good against the Ground Pounder plan. I think I'm going to back off an Ashiok, get a Gideon back in, and +1 March of Otherworldly Light. Just kind of go back to respecting the fair plan a little more, while still leaving in Graveyard Hate for the Reanimation plan. Oh, this basic Plains hand again. Not like this. Not in the final round. Mulligan. Okay, keep. And I'll put Wandering Emperor away for later. I fetched an Underground Sea, and seem to have passed the turn with that. Tundra, okay. I'll play Tundra. I haven't seen a Wasteland yet, but I'm still pretty happy to find land number 2 and it not be a fetch land, so Brainstorm is better next turn. I understand the risk of Orcish Bowmaster here. Sometimes you just gotta accept those risks. A Raw Surveil. Didn't do anything to set this up. Just fetched it in their main phase. And they kept the card. Another Flooded Strand. I'm gonna Brainstorm now while they can't Bowmaster me. Unless they're willing to commit a Dark Ritual to it. Which I'm not sure is a card in their deck. Gideon, Teferi, Narset, Celestial Purge. Kind of like a lot of these cards. I'm going to put back Misty Rainforest and Gideon. Or Misty Rainforest and... I could put back Purge and Gideon. But then I have to shuffle one of them if I cast anything next turn. Which one do I want the most in case I get discarded? Alright, I'll put back Land Gideon. Blue to Delta from the opponent. Let's see if we get another main deck Undercity Sewers here. Or main phase. No, okay. And they're passing. If they're chilling, I'm chilling. Play land number 3. Land number 4 is on top of my deck right now. I have Force, Purge, and Surgical to interact with them. I would love to set Teferi onto the stack next turn without worrying about days if they don't make me do anything this turn. They've got a Brainstorm. This anemic start could heat up fast now. Grief pitching Animate Dead. Okay. Do I just force this? I could pitch Teferi, then they don't know what's in my hand for the rest of the fight. I'm going to try a Force of Will on this. This might be hyper aggressive. But I feel like once they see what I have, the fight gets harder to fight. They're forcing me back. Hate that for me. Okay, Grief's going to resolve. They pitched a Force of Negation. The good news is Celestial Purge and Surgical Extraction can deal with Grief one way or the other, whichever one they take. And I have this like 2 threats, 2 answers kind of thing going on too. All right, they prioritize Celestial Purge. That's spooky. That makes me think they have Bowmasters in their hand. They cycled a Troll in response to Grief still being in play. That was weird. They do have this land drop if they want it. They left me with Surgical, which answers those creatures. The land is still on top of my deck. There's a black in the pool. They are reanimating Grief. Okay. I will extract it, as promised. Their hand is Brazen Borrower, Underground Sea. Okay, they've got 2 Murktides, 4 Bowmasters. It looks like the Dothy Voidwalkers are out. Okay, yeah, they are more reanimating here than they were last game. Okay. They're not in a great spot here. I think I still want to draw this land and just be able to do something if Narset spikes a spell. Forgot to check for Wastelands. I'm just going to pretend they're not playing any. Like a good Magic player. Blue, colorless. Here's Narset. Lock down any potential cantrips they might draw. Ponder, Force of Will, Prologue to Pheresis. The Ponder is what I was looking for. That's why I kept the land. Now I can do more stuff this turn. 3 lands, that's too much. I'm going to shuffle this. And found an island all the same. Okay. My hand is better than theirs, and I'm drawing heavy. Narset gets a big look next turn. There's the Underground Sea. If they draw and cast Grief here on the hard mode, that would be pretty powerful. Orcish Bowmaster is always a great draw. Hope it doesn't come up. Swords of Plowshare is happy to see that, especially in a spot where I didn't have to reveal it off Narset. Oh, second plow. All right, now I do have to reveal it off Narset. I think having a grip full of plows is just way better than not doing that. And I'll play Gideon and just emblem up. As long as I control a Gideon, I can't lose. They saw the plow, so didn't even bother with the Brazen Borrower. Entomb, okay. If they can Entomb Reanimate here, if their last two draw steps were to Reanimate, they're better than me at this. Okay, they just dumped an Atraxa, at least resolving Entomb while you suspect it will actually work. Makes sense. I like brainstorming here. I can answer a Bowmaster even if they have one. Second Narset or Force Blue card. I think the Force of Will ship has sailed here. I could even Narset my way into it. This does open me up to Daze, which I didn't need to do. Whatever. I'm going to take Ponder rather than Force. I'm off it with Force. Gideon's a 4-4. Bring the beats. Opponent's also under 5 minutes on their clock to my 12. Attack. They might bounce Gideon here and just get him out of play for a turn, or they might take this opportunity to try to stick the Brazen Borrower and then stick another creature. If the last card in hand is Daze, I'm going to be bummed out. Okay, they are slamming here. Hope it's not Daze. Plow. Cool. Wasn't Daze. That's the plow they knew about. I'm still holding a plow they didn't know about. If they were working me into a spot where they're going to stick Atraxa and win the game with her, okay, they just very quickly pass the turn. Activate Narset. Teferi seems dope. Just make sure all my stuff works from here on out. Teferi, minus target nothing. I just like more cards, please. Brainstorm. This is a lot of action. I'm going to put back Brainstorm and Ponder. That way, even if they have a discard spell, they're still getting plowed. And now I have the full Super Friend special of Gideon's attacking as a non-creature outside of my turn, and I can Supreme Verdict on their turn with Teferi. Land number 5, plus Teferi, attack for 4. You know, the way that the Gideon and Wandering Emperor have played out throughout this match, I actually think the rebuild might have one Prologue to Pheresis in it. Just open up a bunch of slots for real legacy cards, and the Ichormoon Gauntlet still just wins with Planeswalkers. The Infect could just be a side plan, because even as the main plan, it hasn't happened once, and we're about to finish the league 3-2. Yeah, there's a good chance that that whole part of the deck is just irrelevant. Another Ponder, I'll take that. And they're done. They've had enough. Okay, 3-2, positive record with a deck that I already have thoughts on for next time. Like I was just saying, Prologue to Pheresis. I think this is going to be a one-of, and I'm going to focus on Planeswalker stuff. Probably 2 Meticulous Archive in here. That's just so powerful when you have either stability or nothing really going on, both of which are likely to happen with this deck. I'm going to need to come up with a plan for Beanstalks. I might just main deck 4 Narset. Might even have an additional Hull Breacher in the sideboard. Oh, Hull Breacher breaks the rules, though. I don't actually want a creature with stats in my deck. Has to be a Planeswalker. So probably 4 Narset, 2 Meticulous Archive, 1 Prologue to Pheresis to meme when we get there, but this card's real bad otherwise. And this deck already feels better for next time. As far as the sideboard, Moat's not a real card. I feel like I could beat Goblins anyway, and bringing in against Death and Taxes was a pretty embarrassing 5-mana spell that immediately went away. If anyone has any constructive suggestions for solutions to Beans or Reanimator, I mean, we split him with Reanimator, so I mostly know what to do against Reanimator, but if you've got some secret tech, let me know. There will be another video of this, at least one more, on my quest to trophy. Barrett, thank you for the challenge. Everybody, enjoy the storyline over the next 4 weeks or so. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.